Welcome to the crypto day morning for today's date, Friday, 11th of January 2018. My name is Derek. All bets trades. All of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. And let's do a bunch of other markets before getting into crypto, starting off within the stock market or the Dow Industrials, which from this low, and it's having larger volatility than normal, had its correctionary move. It didn't sell off at this stage in here. It was just breaking down. And after resisting this level, has managed just a few days of grinding its way higher or doing the action of getting above the 18, trying to revert the trend. The last few attempts getting above obviously failed. Very difficult, obviously, in a bear market. At least it's looking to start such, because on the weekly time frame, as I look at it, the market was been in a just amazing uptrend. As we can see, all of this empty space filled from the market going higher. Support was established roughly around here, and it had an attempt to break this high. Technically it might have done so, but in my book it's a matching high. So correctionary move, attempt to regain bull market, and then unable to do so there. Didn't find support at the 18, rather it found support down here, resisted the 18, then the break of such, significant leg lower from this previous established low. And now three decent sized green candles making it up, getting above the previous level of resistance, but now entering the area where the 18 average of lows on the weekly is, entering an area of previous congestion, because if it's unable to get above this 18 average of highs, have a correctionary move, and start to show momentum going lower, well then we'll be talking about how this would be working towards a reversal of trend. And within the monthly, you would lock in stage one, band flattening out, because this would go lower, the band would be settled for sure in that sense, and working on stage two and establishing support for a reversal trend in the more long term. If there's a decent decline, I think that a conservative level is the previous highs in here in 2015. A more neutral one would be the 27 highs and the 22,000 highs of around 12,000, and anything below 10,000 I think is possible, but aggressive. The market is overextended. To me, it's just a matter of when. This could easily be a shakeout sort of, or a scare out, like something like this that comes into play. Time, of course, will only tell. There's a lot of fundamental reasons, PE ratio, miscellaneous, that could state that it's going lower, but I'm only here, of course, to cover the technical analysis of these charts. And moving on to gold, and it's had a good run, correcting a little bit through time, but it's also doing a very good job. 1 hour doesn't do what I'm looking for, the 4 hour, in establishing support resistance. 1279, big time support, big time resistance right near the top of the dollar, 1296 area, 1297. Either way, I mean, there's a lot of this empty space, so I realize if it breaks below it, hitting 1250 in this area, yeah, they're totally a reasonable place for where it would break down to. And on the weekly chart, if this, which has been just going well to the upside, it has the potential for a decent sized green candle. I'd be looking for previous high areas at around 1350 if there is a continuation to the upside. Looking next at silver and its short-term range, because it had this great run breaking this level of resistance at around 1480 and then continuously up. All this empty space, if it's going to correct back down. Support established on the set. First it was established at this level here, and then when it came back down, it pierced extra, not by much. It extended the support range area, and then it came back down here to not validate it, but just give it more credibility of this area of around, well, pretty much close to where it is now, 1550, as a pretty key support level. So if it breaks below it, many dimes lower, 1512, and even maybe coming back to its previous level. But what happens, looking at it clearly more so, yeah, coming down to this level here, whether it's bullish or bearish, I've seen that happen many a times. But because it's had a correctionary move from several days straight up, extending well above the 18, that if it breaks that resistance that I pointed out near the top of the dollar, that where can we go? Well, weekly chart, we've already came back to the support of 2017 and 2018, at least the deeper support. So the congestion area and the highs would be the next one, which would be looking in at about 16.5 to 16 3/5. as a general area for its congestion area, even up to a break above 17. And you expect a decent size move, and to me that would be also within such. Let's move on next to Bitcoin. And from its down move, there's the resistance that was been established originally in here, came back to this point, close enough, but it gave it the band area, attempt to get by it in here, and that's a key Fibonacci number that I also will be talking about in a little bit, but unable to get above it. Now a decent sized red candle back down to this key area of support. It's still in that range bound market. It is as long as it's holding and staying above, the correctionary move is still in that of neutral. What's the likely scenario on a break of support or resistance? The likely scenario of support is not, to me, finding support in here, albeit possibly, but at least one decent size leg lower. We'll get to that in a little bit, but before we do that, breaking out above this resistance, conservatively up here, mediumly, or just maybe back up to this area of where it came from after that, but breaking resistance, you expect at least an okay leg higher. And to me, that's why I give a conservative level to 5. Now, as far as the breaking of support, whenever you're in a bear market, you have a correctionary move. Bear markets are lower highs and lower lows, so therefore lower than this is what a bear market is defined by. You expect a decent sized leg lower. So therefore, what would a conservative level be? Looking at the weekly, it already broke through this level of support. Fibonacci was in at that of around 6,200. Fibonacci here is in at just barely below this. So one would be a Fibonacci pierce below. And technically speaking, roughly around 2,400-ish area, 23, in this 23, 24 would be, I think, an okay size pierce below. And if we look at what a decent sized leg is, that would be okay as well. Fibonacci breaking below 3,000 does work out to be that of 1,000, which does coincide with the previous highs from the end of 2013, as that's the level in which it moved up to. So that would be a more, not conservative, but neutral or in between price target level going down. And the other aggressive one is pretty much the end of Bitcoin. If it goes down to like 300 and everything lower, which means tulip mania idea type of thing coming in. Whether that happens or not, again, time will only tell. I'm betting that it does not. But any type of price corrections going lower, I'm just going to continue on amongst my trading, buying low, selling high, as I've been talking about amongst these videos. Looking at ZEC, which is something that I did buy and sell yesterday. And we'll cross it with Bitcoin. On the weekly chart, it's been going down and down and down. It's been a bear market for pretty much the entire year. How long will these bear markets last for? Well, it could be over now. It could be over in like 2-3 months. It could be a year and a half, 2-year bear market. If, of course, this crypto space still continues to be successful, in that the markets have its correction, sort of like it did last time with Bitcoin, and then it just has its next up period in several of months. This thing here broke a key level of support, which meant I bought going down below in here. And then it had a move yesterday night going out above the 18 average of highs, which meant I was a seller up towards that point. So we've been in a downtrend, a little bit of volatility in here with the movements, but the price action seen it go down, and then obvious sideways move since then. Therefore, let's take a look at this more short term, and we'll use the 4-hour term. Obviously breaking down below the support, failed move, fast move higher, totally the case in this. This isn't the situation where it's just a typical breakdown for the market because everything just happened to be going down at this time, as that's when the crypto space of all markets went down. But this coin going up, it's unique to very few coins that are having bullish runs right now, since of course the decline has come into place. When these markets go, they have the potential for large moves. Now, this overall isn't a large move, but within its time frame, it's good. It's a statement, because you go from well below the 18 lows and quickly after that well above the highs. since the last green candle higher. You've had some nice volatile moves with just choppiness going around since. Holding in there, easily able to draw a symmetrical triangle because you can go like that at least, but you need to see more shortening it out. So that's, and within the single hour term, we can see a little bit more. Interesting, we can just see this period here, how there's a little bit of extra volatility here. It breaks this resistance, comes up towards this high, then it comes back to the 18 highs and just has that nice acceleration period, correctionary mode, attempt to continue this bull market for another leg higher, not able to do so, and then a little bit of a sell-off coming back down here. Doesn't look yet like it's running out of steam or momentum, although it might be the top, but rather that it still could have a bit more correction. Maybe we can have another small leg lower before doing such. But I can also shorten up the time frames even more, see more to what happened during the 20 and the 21 hour periods last night. Let's look at this on the 15-minute time frame. And it's just a matter of weak volatility, or just when you're seeing candles look at the size like this, the order books just are not that big overall. That would be one of the big reasons. And the coins that don't have as big of such, you can have big moves to the upside and downside, which of course that's what this space is all about. But lots of just big volatile up and down moves. Market right now is just getting a little yada yada or whatever. If there's going to be any selling, it's not a surprise that you're going to find some support in here, and maybe it can have the eventual availability to show more amongst this, that we can have a nice sideways correction. Maybe with this established support, we can come back down here and develop a bigger range as well. But for me, I don't care too much and try to figure out, oh, it's going to go up here or down there, because I'll just put my orders in place. And when I seen last night that I had a sell order fill, I'm like, wow, what, really? So it surprised me that that was the case. But you know what? That's the way it is. Let's take a look at Status Network next. And this is a coin that had this wonderful setup in here. So to say that I was surprised that it had this breakout to this high, the answer would be no. And now since then, we've had a little bit of a pullback. Okay, it was obviously going to happen from some point. This one in here went to a standard level of resistance you would expect. This was the resistance established between 530 and about 540. It made it up to 600 and a quarter or so, which was a previous level of resistance amongst such. Let's take a look at this on the shorter term. 4 hour, we can see the nice little choppy action, holding a very rapid rising 18 average of highs. Question is it running out of momentum or steam? And it looks like it very well might be. At least I would be thinking big so if this level of support gets taken out, because from this, well, basically here to here, it was a break of this level resistance in here, getting out of a more of a non-bullish neutral kind of market mode, and then having this gain, having this great setup, grinding and riding the 18 highs, enter volatility here, big green candles up, big red candle down, big move up, and so on and so forth. Volatility really staying large up until really in here, and mostly now it's just gotten a lot lower. Therefore, we can see that we've had multiple resistance hits. We have this band of resistance area here, I would think, which is what's important, because that to me is the area that it needs to get above. Until then, this thing is settling in, neutral bound. I would have to say, and I would be, if it breaks down now, then yeah, maybe it could find some support in here, and then you could just draw this as a neutral range. But going down even further in here, this would tell me that this move is over. And like a lot of markets, we do have to consider the fact that this could be having that the failed breakout, because it needs to hold really around this area. If you see weakness amongst the 18 average of lows in here, I would be counting that towards such, because long term with these charts, we can see what the story has been It's been a bear market pretty much for the entire year of 2018, as we now are finishing the second week of 2019. Okay, yesterday I talked about Verge. Let's take a look at such within. On its single hour time frame, there's the attempt to make a new high. It barely did, about as minimum as you could get to consider that as a leg higher. Within the higher lows that has come into play, support in this area, still making that of higher lows, but failing amongst where we are. The 18 average means correctionary moves in here. We came from this area at this point. It didn't have a spectacular move going from point low to point high on break of this resistance. Therefore, breaking it down below here, not a big surprise if you come in here. And when we look at this again on a more longer term time frame on the daily chart, if it holds, the setup looks really good. But if a good setup fails, and to me that is not succeeding where it needs to hold, then that's going to be a nice large leg lower, because I don't expect support to come in here if the failure of this move happens. Maybe short term it might do something like a little bit of that, but it would just be a little bit, I would think, of price and time correction if that failure comes into being. Now that we've had this move, we've got now basically we do have 3 time event hits amongst this area, as we had it here, here, and here. If this market can correct for a few more days, a bit of price, all that type of thing, to validate this as a completion of the 3rd time, and that would make the setup for a possible breakout higher, because now later on and doing a correctionary move, getting out above this, the more times you hit a level, the more likely it is you take it out. I would be thinking that moving forward. But that will be it for today. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.